So yeah, there may be another yoga instructor in your town or the next one over, but there's only one you. And like, maybe you resonate with this type of person, or maybe your teaching style works with that type of person. I mean, there's all different kinds of personal trainers. They're not all the same. Even if they're following a similar methodology, there's only one you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Local Business Hacks Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Nicolanti, on a mission to help you. This show is here to educate you, inspire you, and most importantly, motivate you to dominate your competition. Whether you're brand new and just opening your doors, or looking to level up your existing business, you're in the right spot. Now, let's get this party started and talk some local business hacks. Welcome back, local business hackers. I got a special guest here today I'm so excited to speak with you all about. Chris Badgett, who is the CEO and co-founder of LifterLMS, is our guest today. So, Chris, welcome to the call.
Dave, thanks for having me.
It's awesome to have you. We had an incredible conversation last time we spoke. I learned a whole bunch of golden nuggets. I'm so excited to go through it again and share it with our audience. So, again, just to give you a quick refresher, and we work with a lot of businesses, local small businesses, like the companies you run into walking down Main Street, USA. So we appreciate being on here and that you want to share your knowledge and help everybody improve, which is what it's all about. So, Chris, tell me a little bit of, just give me like your 30-second elevator pitch on LifterLMS.
So basically, I help course creators create, launch, and scale high-value training programs online. And that could be a course for money. It could be a course for training employees at your small business, or several courses, or you could be doing some kind of remote school solution or tutoring program. Lots of flexibility there, but that's what we do with LifterLMS.
Awesome. So helping small businesses save time, save money, eliminate repetition, and course creation. So who's the audience that you serve? What kind of clients do you work with?
There's different types because our tool's flexible. Basically, if you are already using a WordPress website for creating like marketing pages or like a blog on your site, think of adding LifterLMS as adding course functionality and the ability to sell courses and stuff like that. So the primary people that use our tool are experts of some kind. So on Main Street, that might be like a yoga instructor. We've even got like car mechanics who are creating an additional revenue stream by teaching some kind of engine repair on their website and selling it all over the world. So it can be used for like an additional stream of income. I've seen pizza shops using LifterLMS to train their employees via iPads on the various stages of the process for making the pizza. So it comes out the same every time, and the way the business does it. So there's all kinds of uses. Cool. Yeah.
So I'm imagining all sorts of different ways to help a business scale, teach that consistency that everyone's always looking for, the brand consistency. And I know you own a small business, you want to trust that you can hand it off to somebody, they're going to do the same thing. So that's kind of the way to go about teaching them as one example. So you mentioned yoga instructors as well. We do a lot of work with health, wellness, fitness companies. So that's awesome. So personal trainers, everybody can use videos to kind of for these courses. It seems like we work with a lot of companies, and something that we don't hear too many of them do. We don't hear about too many of them doing stuff like this. So for companies that aren't doing it, I mean, why should they have some sort of what kind of benefit does LifterLMS offer in these course creations? How could somebody that's not doing it right now benefit from it?
Well, I think it's an evolution for one. So at first, like recently in the world, we've seen a lot of people turn to tools like Zoom, like you mentioned, personal trainers, trying to deliver the workout either in group or in private one-on-one sessions through Zoom. The way I like to describe the opportunity is like, that's cool and that works, and keep doing that. But eventually folks will find the record button in Zoom and realize you can create a video out of that. Or you could even go into a Zoom room by yourself with your camera and your audio on and create a workout that becomes a video that you can then sell access to as like a pre-recorded training or yoga workout or, body weight routine workout or back pain recovery workout or whatever it is.
So it's almost like that business owner can be in multiple places all at the same time.
That's the power of video. It is truly amazing the tools that are at our fingertips between our computers, our smartphones, the software that's out there, and the tools that we can use with really just a handful of tools. It's amazing what you can create and scale yourself, um, through video.
So video course creation, that's awesome. Big value there, guys. I mean, videos everywhere. It's funny. I've seen so many reports like every year dating back to like 2014 that I can remember. Where on social media, it's like, hey, this is the year of video. And it still is. Everyone's saying this is the year of more and more and more video. So that's incredible stuff there. So everyone can go out and make their own videos. Where does Lifter come into play though?
It really comes into play when you think about wanting to monetize video or use it for teaching specifically. So part of the learning curve is, if you're not making video as a Main Street business owner, I would just recommend starting by making some videos and putting them on your social media, your Twitters, your Facebooks, your TikToks, your Snapchats, and all that. Because we, as business owners, we do social media marketing. But then, when we think about like let's make something that we can sell, then now we need a learning management system or an LMS to put that content in there, to organize it, to provide a way for it to be sold, and also allow for students to have their dashboard and they can track their progress through the video content. And that's if we're selling it. If we're just doing it to train our people at our company, we're not really looking at selling. We're more looking at curating and capturing the intellectual property of our systems and processes in our company so that we create this training asset inside of our company. So that's kind of how I think about getting into it.
Very cool. So, and I understand it, but tell you what, I mean, let me ask you this. So customers, it sounds like they can do some of this on their own, and Lifter LMS simplifies that process and keeps them organized. But what's the process look like if they were to do this without Lifter, like helping them out? Could they do it? And like what kind of time goes into creating something on your own course wise that can be used to kind of scale in the same way?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is to really sit down with a pencil and paper, kind of like you would to write a book. You want to create like that table of contents. Like this is how to make the perfect pizza, or this is how to do the workout routine for this particular demographic, or this is how to do this kind of diesel rebuild, or whatever it is. Like map it out. Then we want to record it. And, we're creating video files. I'm a big fan of beginners is don't even worry about editing it. I call it like one shot, one kill, which just means it's easy to get sidetracked into the tools and imposter syndrome. And the video I made is not perfect. I don't know how I look on camera, too many ums and ahs and all this stuff. Don't worry about it. Just make the content. People are very forgiving of those little things when what you're providing is something of value to them that they really want access to. And then once you have those video files and you organize them in a certain way, really the simplest way to do it is to put those video files into a file sharing program that can handle bigger video files like Dropbox or Google Drive, these types of services where somebody through the internet, other than email, which can only handle so big of a file, where you can actually provide a folder of videos to people. That's like this whole industry of online training and online courses literally started in this way of people sending out an invoice, and then after you pay me, I manually send you a link to a Dropbox folder. That is how the course creation or the online course creation industry started.
Right. So share a little bit about how someone doing all of that on their own, and there's a lot of manual components there, lots of moving parts to take care of, compared to using Lifter. How much time are they looking at saving with using Lifter LMS versus doing it manually the old-fashioned way?
We've got a video on our YouTube channel. It shows you like if you've got that file folder of like the videos mapped out and you're organized, you're like, okay, this is the intro lesson and this and that. And let's say we had 10 lessons, you could launch that course in 20 minutes just by plugging it in, building out the structure in Lifter, and then adding the content, putting a price on it, and you're good to go.
And the big
So,
thing is you have that plugin directly into WordPress, correct?
yeah. Yeah. So if you already are using a WordPress site, it's super easy. WordPress powers 40% of the internet. Then you can just add LifterLMS to it. If you're not using WordPress yet, you can buy a domain name and a hosting account, a web hosting account, which typically runs you at the low end $5 to $10 a month. And then it comes with WordPress installed, and you just add Lifter and a theme, and you're good to go. I mean, there's more to it. We've got training on how to get started, but that's basically all there is to it.
That's awesome. So anyone on Main Street USA, they can go and essentially put mini clones of themselves out there over there on video and capture and create an additional revenue stream. So let's say, heck, you even said a pizza shop, so I don't know who can't use it. So let's go back to, I always like to go to ABC Yoga as kind of my go-to business example. Okay. So ABC Yoga does not have it. What are the benefits of having these courses? I mean, I see a revenue stream or an additional revenue stream. I see no geographical constraints because the internet's everywhere. What am I missing? Anything else? Like any other major benefits from having these courses online that they can achieve?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is just an authority thing. Like if you write a book or you create a course or you have a radio show, i.e. a podcast like you're listening to right now, you're demonstrating authority and just commitment to your industry. And it also just makes you smarter. There's this whole loop in instructional design we call learn, do, teach. And every time you go around that circle, that's how you become a true expert. So the very act of teaching whatever it is you do, it makes you better and it makes whoever you're helping better. So, and it's like a feedback loop that just keeps going. So that's another benefit. And the other thing is really just legacy. When you're basically productizing yourself around a specific topic or whatever it is, you're creating an asset, which is like that can literally outlive you, which is kind of wild to think about. But I mean, there's a lot of books that we read today that are from people that are no longer around and stuff like that. So you're literally creating something that can outlive you.
That's incredible stuff. That's kind of like makes you go sit back and pause for a minute. That's some deep stuff. I'm digging that. And it's a lot of opportunity there that so many businesses aren't taking advantage of. And I want to pause real quick and focus on one thing you said. I mean, so many small business owners, and I interact with them, deal with them on a daily basis. And some obviously have that confidence, and they are the best. They have that confidence in themselves. They are the expert. They know it. But so many kind of lack that confidence where they don't really see themselves as the expert. So I love that kind of cycle that you went over, the learn, do, teach. And just if you don't think you're an expert and you have your own business, you've taken those steps, you are an expert. And just realize that for yourselves, everybody. And that learn, do, teach, that's such a cool cycle. And it's been around for years. I've heard it many times in the past, but every time I hear it again, it's enlightening. It's kind of empowering. So I really love that you said that. That's exciting. Let's see, Chris, so tell me a little bit about Lifter. How long have you guys been in business?
So as of this recording, we're getting close to our 7th year in business. And before that, thank you. Before that, we used to build these types of platforms from scratch without an off-the-shelf tool like Lifter for about 3 years before that. So I've been in this industry for about 10 years. And before that, I became fascinated with these. I saw the rise of online video. I saw the rise of basically the democratization of online education, where anybody in the world could create this stuff. And it was very powerful, kind of like how anybody can write a book and put on Amazon or Kindle or whatever. I saw this happening a long time ago in education. I became fascinated with it. So I've been around it for a bit, and it's amazing to see how this industry is evolving and just becoming more and more accessible for everybody.
That's awesome, man. I love the passion that you just explained that with. That's so cool. So you mentioned you were doing this back in the day individually for companies on a one-on-one basis.
Yes.
And that's kind of evolved. So you figured out, hey, I'm doing this. I need to scale this. So you make it work on a platform like WordPress. Obviously, that's pretty a great effective way to scale and to grow. But as for the idea itself, even before you were doing it for individual businesses, how do you come up with the concept?
Well, I was actually one of my first clients that I really needed a lifter for, but it didn't exist, was a yoga instructor who decided to, she was building a yoga brand online and starting to blog and create a YouTube channel. And this is a long time ago. This is like 9 years ago or something. And, she needed it, and there wasn't really a good tool to do it, and she wanted to do it from her site. She wanted to build an asset that she owned. So I saw this demand. Also at the same time, in my personal story, um, I won't do the long story, but I used to live in Alaska. I ran sled dogs up there for 10 years. I met my wife up there. I used to live on a glacier that you could only get to by helicopter. And when I had my first child, I decided I needed to reinvent myself. And I turned into this guy who lived off the grid with dogs in remote parts of the wild to this internet entrepreneur. So the change is crazy. It was very painful and hard. But what I'm saying is, in that process, and with my obsession with the education entrepreneur, I call them the online education entrepreneur, I decided to create some courses with my wife and some experts in a certain type of gardening niche. And we would drive with our video camera to these experts and film what they were teaching in these in-person workshops. I even got on a plane and did this in Costa Rica with like a world-known expert in a really small gardening niche. And then I built this site for them where we would just partner, and I would digitize their training. I would do the website. I would do the marketing. They just had to be the expert and teach. And this is how this whole story began. And that was a very long time ago.
That's incredible. That's so cool. So I can just picture you on flying that helicopter to come home well, not every day, probably they'd get expensive.
No. Yeah, they're about $1,000 an hour. And I spent a lot, I would live remotely and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, but I spent a lot of time thinking about that, like, making the transition to this online world. I had incredible freedom in my life because I always did what I really, really wanted to do. Even if I wasn't making a ton of money, I was always committed to living the life that I wanted to live. And then when I got into business and entrepreneurship, so that wasn't my company. I was a manager at that company. I worked my way up from the bottom. But then when I realized I was an entrepreneur and I wanted to build my own thing, figuring all that out, was not easy. So where I'm at now is like, I'm trying to help people not go through as much pain as I did, figuring out online education, online e-commerce, getting leads for their business. A course is like a giant business card, and YouTube can be incredibly powerful for getting clients at a local Main Street level. And all these things can work together for an entrepreneur.
That's awesome. Such a wild ride for you.
Yeah.
That is cool. So I loved your story. That's great stuff. Tell me like maybe your favorite story, or like about a client you've helped out, maybe like your most inspiring client, something, how lifters help them out during either getting started, during some crazy times, whatever it might be.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. I've got like over 10,000 users. There's a lot of people out there, but I'll tell you about Ziv, who is he's a man from Israel. And if you think your business is too small, I'm going to tell you about Ziv's business. What Ziv does for a living is he is a balloon artist. So if a kid has a birthday party and you're going to hire like a clown or somebody that's going to tie balloons and do a magic show, there's probably, depending upon the size of your town or your city, there's a couple of these people around. So Ziv was so passionate about his business, he wanted to help other aspiring balloon artists succeed. Now in entrepreneurship, we have a metric we call TAM, T-A-M, which stands for total addressable market. In the entire world, there are only 5,000 to 7,000 balloon artists. So the total addressable market is only 7,000 people. Of those 7,000 people, only about 2,000 of them are serious enough to actually want to invest in improving their career as a balloon artist. I watched Ziv go from 0 to 6 figures with his business in 18 months, I believe it was. And then what I saw Ziv do next was incredible. After the challenges of the pandemic and the COVID, the balloon artist trade and the entertaining party thing for kids was obviously kind of put on hold around the world. And Ziv was facing a churn problem of all these people that would hire his kind of small business were in serious trouble. So he literally invented a new industry of how do we do what we do through the internet? How do we do magic shows through the screen? How do we make the fun of balloons happen through the mail and through the screen? And he literally, watching this entrepreneur adapt and just rise to the challenge is so inspiring. And he helps so many of his people both stay in business. His business tripled during the most challenging time when you think they would have had to close the doors. And I just see Ziv and his what he does and his passion continue to grow. The big lesson was
chills over here from listening to this. This is awesome.
Yeah. And that, I like his story too, because sometimes we think we have to teach the world and like, oh, if this is going to work, I'm going to need millions of people or all this stuff. Like, if you have a tight niche, there's only one you is what I like to say. So yeah, there may be another yoga instructor in your town or the next one over, but there's only one you. And like, maybe you resonate with this type of person, or maybe your teaching style works with that type of person. I mean, there's all different kinds of personal trainers. They're not all the same. Even if they're following a similar methodology, there's only one you.
That's like bulletin board material right there. Everyone needs to write that one down and hang it up somewhere. There's only one you. That is so cool. And what an incredible story. This shows you can go how specific you can niche down and be an expert in that very, very small niche and still make money. the internet course creation, incredible. It's so neat. Oh yeah, I'm just still trying to wrap my head around making balloons and selling it online and showing, like, I'm assuming like sending out the kit with balloons and instructions and videos to do it. That's so neat. So Chris, you're a pretty unique guy. I mean, your story is incredible. What gets you hyped up every morning? Like, where do you get your energy from to help your customers?
I think at the end of the day, one of my strengths, I'm like a really empathetic person. And when I look around and meet somebody, I always see all this value trapped inside somebody. That whole learn to teach thing, like I see an opportunity inside of so many people. Many people don't realize what they have or undervalue it. So figuring out ways to help people, teach or add value and help somebody else who's not as far along on the journey get results really inspires me. I'm also just a big believer in small business and the entrepreneur and, figuring out that path myself. I call it the trough of despair when you decide to start a business, especially if you're not coming from a bunch of resources and you got to figure it all out and you make all these mistakes in the early days of the company or a struggle and you're making all these sacrifices. I really like the entrepreneur's fight and I just like supporting them. And I believe that small business is really the main vehicle for change and a huge driver of the economy that's supporting that through my little slice of online education. It's extremely motivating for me in my life's work.
They're just improving everybody with education.
Yeah.
Love it. So, again, Chris, I mean, our audience is Main Street USA local businesses. Lots of great information you're providing to them here. This could be something inside or outside of Lifter LMS. What suggestion or what kind of hack would you suggest that all business owners could use right now?
A course can be kind of complex if you haven't done it before. So let's just break down the fundamental building block of a course, which is a video in most cases. Leveraging video as a method for getting clients or repeat clients from YouTube is extremely important. And with the big benefit that Main Street businesses have is you have the ability to target your local town, city, state keywords and that sort of thing. So if you don't have a YouTube strategy, the big mistake that I see companies make and businesses make is thinking that if they do YouTube, they have to become a professional YouTuber and make videos constantly and all this stuff. What I recommend people do is make just a series of like 3 videos. Oftentimes people go into pitch mode, especially if you have a background in sales. So often when people go to make a video for their company, they're trying to make a commercial that is a buy my stuff kind of video. Like, here I am. These are my 3 things that make me amazing. I'll see inside, come in, mention this video, and you can save 10%. Definitely make that video, but make a couple more that sit in front of that video. So if I was let's say I had a yoga studio and I was really good at, helping, let's say I was really good at helping women who have had kids get back in shape, right? So yeah, like I help women get back in shape, and I have this yoga practice I can do. Come to my stuff. By the way, I've got some online classes or whatever. But before that, make a video about something where that's the commercial video is what we call a solution aware video. A buyer's journey goes through these phases that are called unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware. When somebody is all the way down the content funnel at the product aware stage and they're evaluating you against your competitor, that's the last step. But there's all this other content you can make about somebody who's unaware. Like let's just say we're in Philadelphia. It just came to mind, and we have a Main Street yoga business in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb of Philadelphia.
Yep.
I might have some video about how pregnancy is not the end of athleticism for 30-year-old woman or whatever. And then I might make another video about different options to get in shape after pregnancy. You could do CrossFit, you could do running, you could do yoga, and then I might make the case for why yoga is the best. Mm-hmm. And only then do we get to the 4th video, which is about why my studio is awesome or whatever. So this essentially creates a content funnel that you nurture a relationship down through the videos. At the end of each video, you mention the next video. And people use YouTube like a search engine, and Google puts the YouTube videos in the search results. So this simple 4 video strategy can be very powerful for many different businesses.
And again, one thing I want to drill home, because that sounds like it could be a little intimidating, 4 videos, but like you said, just go out there and do it. If you have
shoot it on the iPhone, shoot it on your smartphone. Right. Yeah.
Our iPhones are so much more powerful than good cameras were 15 years ago. And the iPhones are incredible. So just go out there and do it. If it has the ums, hey, it makes you human. That's okay. And one of our guys over on our team always goes, "Oh, just being there is 80% of the battle. So I mean, just doing it is 80% of it." And so start that process. That's awesome stuff. That's great. So Chris, we've reached the time of the podcast where I like to kind of sit back and relax here and make you do the dirty work. So what is something that I missed? What's a question that I should ask you where you can provide some value to local businesses out there that we didn't
I would
cover
say
already?
I would ask the question around how a small business can use courses and videos to help with their new employee onboarding.
Okay, so all right, I can do that. So Chris, how can small businesses out there use courses out there, courses in the video to help when it comes to bringing on a new hire?
Do you know what the number one complaint people have when they start a new job is? It has to do with how stressful, and most people just really don't like their first day at a new job. It's intimidating. It is the quality of the onboarding is variable. And if there's no system or in place for the company, which is 95% of the time the situation, a manager will just say, all right, welcome, here's your stuff for your first day, and follow this experience plan or employee around. I call it the shadow Bob problem. Like, here, Bob's been here for 4 years. Bob, meet Casey. Casey's new here. Show her the ropes. And good luck. Welcome to the company. The problem with that is one day Bob might leave. Bob might be having a bad day. Bob might be burnt out of because he's actually so good, he's, quote, getting penalized and having to do extra work, not only doing his job, but also having to teach the new person. So what we have here is we have an opportunity for a company to slow down to move fast later, I call it, which is, let's actually think as a business owner. We put a lot of thought into sales and service and the product or service we're delivering. Let's think about the onboarding experience of our new people and build a system and a process there. So we have a repeatable, let's say we have a restaurant and we have a new wait staff person come, and maybe we have some like OSHA requirements they need to learn about. They need to learn like the dress code. They need to learn our brand and how we treat our customers. They need to learn the menu. They need to learn, the different days of the week, the org chart of the company, even stuff like that. We can put all that into a course, or like some people call it an employee manual. Yeah, you could write it out, but you can what's easier than writing a route? Go talk to Bob. You don't even have to do it as the business owner. The Bob that you've sent people to a million times, you're like, Bob, we're going to take the day off. You're not going to have to wait today. We're actually going to just have a special thing, you and me and my iPhone. And I want you to pretend I'm a new hire at this company. I'm going to follow you around. And I've done a little bit of pre-work, and I have these 10 business objectives I want new employees to learn. And we're going to create a little video. It's not super serious. It doesn't have to be perfect, about each of these steps. And I'm going to pay you for your time, of course. So we essentially create an onboarding course by taking a couple hours out of our day or however long it takes to create this training asset that no matter what, if Bob quits, Bob's burnt out, Bob's having a bad day, that Bob's too busy, that we can even have our new employees go through this material before they show up on their first day, so that when they show up, they're confident. They already kind of know what's going on. Right. They know the drill a little bit. Now we have a training asset inside of our company. So that's my pro tip for, yes, it's nice to make additional income stream, but it's also nice to productize your onboarding experience through some online education.
So you said something though that I totally loved: slow down to move fast.
Yeah.
So slow down, get it right the first time, put the time in, put the effort in, pay the man to help you out, pay Bob, and get it right. And then you just reuse it. Everyone can come to work their first day, fully equipped, ready to go, start being productive faster. And you don't have to worry about Bob having a good day, a bad day, being inefficient, whatever it might be. That's really cool. That's great stuff. And that's something everyone can do right now as well. So Chris, this has been great. LifterLMS, where can our audience, where can our local business hackers find you?
So you can find me at lifterlms.com. Again, LMS stands for Learning Management System. So that's lifterlms.com. I'm also an extreme nerd on this topic. So if you like this podcast, I have a podcast for people who get into teaching online and building these types of online courses and memberships and programs. That podcast is called LMS Cast, and you can find it wherever you listen to your podcasts. And
Awesome.
I've been doing it for a long time. We're like 300 and some episodes deep. So there's a lot
You're a
of
trooper,
great
man.
content there. Yeah.
I was say, rumor has it you have a podcast as well. So that's awesome. Chris at at LMS LifterCast.
LifterLMS.com is the software.
Yep.
And then the podcast is LMS Cast.
My apologies. LMS Cast. Check out the podcast as well for Chris. Chris, it's been awesome having you on here. I appreciate your time, bud. Love to do this again. Great stuff. And best of luck to you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show, Dave. And for you out there listening, I know what it's like as a business owner and as an entrepreneur. So don't give up, keep taking action, and level up every day.
You got it. Level up every day. I love it. You're just a walking quote board, man. I can dig it. Chris, best of luck. Wow. So that was just some incredible stuff. So many tips, tricks, and things to implement. Remember, that was a lot of advice that was just shared right there. Advice that every type of business can use. So remember, find those couple of things that are fit for you. Figure out a plan, how to implement them, what to do. Don't try and do everything all at once right away. Remember that old saying, that old question, how do you eat an elephant? Well, if you know the phrase, you probably know where I'm going with this. But you can't do everything at one time. Remember, you eat that elephant simply one bite at a time. Set your plan, stick to it. So I want to give thanks to our awesome guest. If you want to find out more about today's topic and guests, make sure to check out our show notes. All the guest information is there on our website, and that website is localbusinesshacks.com. Now there's a dash between each word, so it's www.local-business-hacks.com. Check that out. And of course, I want to give a big thanks to you for listening. So if you enjoyed this episode, please let us know. Leave a review on whatever service you're listening to this on. And if you have any questions or just want to keep the party going, please join our Facebook group at Local Business Hacks. Till next time, cheers.